Hey homies, come join me. This is going to be a much more low feeling video today. I honestly was just going to put in a little post just to let you guys know like the basics of where my head was at. But on days like today where I actually feel like I've, not failed per se, but I keep setting myself back without realizing it. And I keep having these consistent workouts where I'll build up very nicely and I'll have something good going, and then one thing will get in the way and I'll take some unnecessary jump to try to combat it without letting myself heal properly, And today, for example, I could say that it was a lot of things, but realistically, when it comes to whatever, whether it was I didn't take pre-workout today, I didn't stretch my elbows enough today, whatever, it shouldn't feel like this. The gym's always going to feel great and feel like a positive, uplifting experience for myself. And so when I have days like today where I feel like it's actually it's had me take a step back, it's obviously upsetting and it's going to make me upset in the moment. But I have to remind myself that this is the kind of thing I have to go through to really see where I want to be and what will work best for where I'm currently at. It's, it feels weird. Like with the clean and jerks today, I did power clean and jerks. Like, again, I'm still physically peaked. Don't get me wrong. The weights are flying really well. I guess you could say the passion just wasn't there today, which is really rare for me. It's kind of surreal to say that, but that's why I wanted to talk about it. These videos were originally meant for the sake of me doing some better mental health stuff, have a good positive self-talk, whether I have a good or bad day. And so if I start neglecting the bad days and just not doing a video for them because I feel that way, then what's the point in doing them at all? I got to make sure I have a positive self-talk no matter how I feel. And immediately my left arm just wasn't feeling that strong. That was, I have the old injury in my left hand from a long while ago. Whenever my hand's a little sore or something feels off, typically goes on my left just because of that. It's not a big deal, but it definitely was lingering on me. And my left elbow just started feeling the effects of it. And I managed to get through the power clean and jerks because it wasn't too crazy. And again, the weights were flying. It's not like it was crazy hard or anything, but it shouldn't feel painful. Soreness, fine. Fatigue, okay. General tiredness, fine. That's all good. But when it comes to pain, that's where I'd like to draw my line, and that was what was really confusing today, because it's so ironic that I make a video yesterday about how I'm writing my past mistakes. And of course I'm going to continue to do that. I just didn't expect to be turned around so fast. But I guess that's what I get for putting a little bit too much weight on the barbell when I just didn't realize my body wasn't ready yet. That's all it was. When I got to my squats, just already was not feeling it because the lingering pain that you feel anywhere in your body can absolutely tarnish a good workout, or anything you do in the day. Pain will destroy a mindset. It's so unfortunate, but that's just how it is. And I let it get to me today for sure. I did very much so try to relock it back in as hard as I could and get the squats moving the best that I could as well. But by the time I hit 365, my core wasn't bracing. My body was just overall in general just tired to shit, honestly. And I had to take that second to back off and just say, I'm in pain. I have to remind myself of that. I can't just sit there and say, work through it, get over it. That's what causes long-term issues and injuries. And that's not who I am anymore, for sure. That's one thing I'm very confident in. So, decided to leave after that. I was supposed to go up to 415 for a set of 6 because the other day, hit it for 3 sets of 4 pretty well. So again, not to say that I'm not peaked, and I guarantee you I could do it. I'm not truly being mindful of my fatigue. I keep saying it, and I keep trying to get better at working around it. but I have to be real with myself, and I've not been kind to my body, for sure. It's been a bit of a roller coaster because of how different everybody is, especially with Olympic lifting and any sort of strength building. You're never going to really know what works until you fuck something up. That's the main gist of it, and it's always going to be disappointing. And it's not that I'm disappointed in myself or I'm upset at myself. It's upsetting in general. I'm very proud, and I'll give myself credit for the effort that I did put in and the experience that I have withdrawn from this, because it's going to make my efforts in the future turn to gold. That's the whole idea of working as hard as you can, failing occasionally, and then picking it back up. That's the whole idea. That's the dream of it all. But it's definitely humbling, to say the least. When I thought recovering my left quad tendon would be the worst of it, and there's always something that you have not gone through, or some way of setback that you haven't gotten to experience yet, that has put you in a state where you have to try something completely new. Because whatever I've been doing for the past however many years, because the 3 days on, 1 day off, doing Olympic lifting every day, squats and bench twice a day, or twice a week each, that kind of thing, I've always done that. That's almost always been the way my program's been written. There was only a very short period of time right at the beginning where it was a little bit different, but it's almost always been this kind of split. And starting to at least realize that even if the split's okay and I can keep the cycle the way it is schedule-wise, when it comes to the effort that I'm putting in every single workout, there needs to be some back and forth. I can't just be on a consistent every single day up, like absolutely going as hard as I can, intensity kind of drive. It's not feasible long term. I'm young, and I recognize that, and I appreciate it so much, because I probably would have injured myself beyond belief by now if I wasn't. But I've definitely been taking advantage of that, and I need to adhere to my legitimate physical capabilities, because I've been ignoring them for a while, I think. And it's not that I need to go super light, or I need to slow down an immense amount or anything. It's not that the program was even bad. The program I just switched off on, from going from 3 sets to doing the 1, it's not a bad idea. And it was just the execution and the timing that wasn't exactly all there. Because I had such a great workout yesterday, and that I still have to remind myself of that. It was working amazingly, but that was that one day. And I know I mentioned it, but it may have felt great in the moment, and it may have been a great step and a great experience to try and go through, but that does not mean that that's going to be what works the next day, And especially with just everything, I'm very open to change, and I love changing my program and going back and forth, but truthfully, I can't remember the last time I managed to get through an entire program without trying to change something up. I really need to give it that time to grow and move at the rate that it's supposed to, right? It's man, I don't mean to be all down and somber about it. It's just I have to embrace struggle. I have to appreciate and love the fact that I'm allowed to struggle in this life. A lot of people will say it's not fair and that it shouldn't be what happens, but that's, we don't control life. We work with it, and we do the best that we can with it. And so I have to view this struggle as a positive. I tell myself a lot, and I tell a lot of people, positivity is relative to yourself. And even if I don't lift anything and I can't pick up any big numbers or whatever, that does not mean that I have not succeeded. I have to take these visible setbacks and in the moment upsets as my biggest rooms for potential. That's where the growth is going to happen. And that's kind of where that blind faith comes in. You have to really trust yourself and trust your experience, because I've been through the thin and thick of it, man. I've recovered so well from so many bad injuries and letdowns when it comes to the program. This is not a big deal, you know? It's only going to be as big a deal as I allow it to be. But I also want to remind myself that it hits this hard because that's how much I care, you know? And I love that about the sport, but I also despise it to a sense, because that's where it's the short-term obsession for a long-term passion, you know? And oh boy, these short-term obsessions, they kill me. Oh man. I honestly, I really did not want to do the video today, but again, it's giving me a better perspective of what I can think about for getting back on and doing the best I can after all this stuff, because I really want to do good, and I really want to bring it back and do better. And it feels especially not great because I just decided to restart the program, and day 2, it's already making me realize the faults at where my mindset was at originally. Because of course, like, in the sense of going to just a single top set, in theory, it always works. It's purely theory, you know? And when it comes to the human body, we are weak and fragile beings, you know? We're never actually really getting stronger, you know, to a sense. We're just becoming less weak and being able to withstand a little bit more than we used to. So what does it all mean, you know? What can we take away? Well, I'll tell you now, before I end it up. Physically, I'll put it at a 7. It really wasn't great. You know, the pain that I felt and the lack of being able to lock it in, you know, because mentally I'm there. I can always get there mentally, but it's so odd to feel physically okay and mentally okay, and yet my core wouldn't brace. You know, I couldn't drive it as hard as I wanted to, just because that's how fatigue works. You know, it'll break you down without you even realizing that you're feeling negatively, you know? And mentally. Oh, man. I'll just put them on the same wavelength, honestly. I'll put them both on a 7, because I don't feel horribly, you know? I'm upset, sure. I'm not happy that this is what happened today, but that's why it happened. I had to experience this today in order to embrace a better tomorrow. You know, that's what the better hope of a future means. And I know I have it in me to do these lifts. I'm fully physically peaked to do these lifts. I know that for a fact. For a fact. You know, there's no question in my mind that I know I can do it. Absolutely, I know I can do it. But I think the thing that's beating me down the most about it all, because I'm definitely appreciative. Trust me, I'm going to keep saying I'm going to become better because of this. And I really didn't put much thought into this program. I was like, we'll just kind of fuck around and find out, you know? And that was not the play, obviously. But I think it's the fact that you know, and this is life. This is what's going to happen. This is what, it'll happen to everyone. So it's not a bad thing, but it's going to hurt just as bad every time, no matter what. But it's having such a high progressive incline of your potential. You know, I was peaking every week just about. And right when I'm hitting the highest peak I've ever felt, you know, every single lift has never been this strong. I put myself in a position where I now have to force myself to step back, tone it down, and reevaluate what I'm actually capable of doing. You know, because this is what's gonna have to happen to learn. You know, it's I can't lie to you guys. I'm just pissed. That's about it. This is the in the moment. You know, you're not gonna see this often. But this is why I want to talk about it. You know, I have to accept this little in the moment tantrum in order to move past it and write a better program that I know will work for me. Because going to the sets of 3 was working wonderfully. Honestly, it really wasn't working bad. It just, I was so fatigued that I assumed the volume was tanking me, when in reality it's just the new job mixed with getting into heavier weights that I've never done before, and that's okay. I don't know, but I'm gonna take time to reflect. I'm gonna take time to listen to myself, and I'm gonna take a couple steps back, just kind of relax for the evening now, because I got all night, and I'm just gonna see what my brain comes up with, because I don't want to overcomplicate it. I don't want to make it an unfun experience, because I love rewriting my programs and I love finding new things to try to build through. But something's got to change, for sure. So I don't know what it's going to be, but I promise you, I'm going to get there. And you guys will hear every bit of it. And again, I know it's a more downtrodden video than I normally put out, but I'm going to be fine. We are going to persevere. But either way, let me know how you guys are doing. I always appreciate the support and all that kind of stuff. And it's nice to have you guys coming back and all that kind of jazz. So I really don't know I might be back tomorrow. I might not. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm just going to kind of let whatever happen, think really long and hard about what I want to take as my next step, so that I stop having these interruptions that put me back in a spot where I feel like I could get injured again, because that is the last thing I want to happen, and I'm going to do my absolute due diligence to avoid it as best as I can. Because if I injure myself while on a good program, fine. That just means it happens sometimes. But if I injure myself because I'm not locked into it and I'm not enjoying myself and I'm just having bad workouts mentally, that's where the problem lies. That's the biggest issue. So I'm going to really try to lock it in, and we'll see what happens. But I'll be back at some point. I'll keep you updated, and I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.